Hey guys, happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well and looking forward to the weekend. I don't know about you, but I don't think this week can have any more incidents or any more surprises at this point. Um, of course, we had the incident this week with the young man with the, I call it traffic dispute, where again, I'm picking my words very carefully because I wasn't there. But at least from what I can see from the video, was being aggressively approached by a much older gentleman who opened the car door and actually got in his space. So, again, from what I can see from the video, the young man felt obviously threatened and he felt like he had to defend himself. I've seen varying views on social media around, well, who was right, who was wrong, and this, and that. But maybe we should just take a step back. We have a 17-year-old boy being approached by a much older gentleman. Probably just got his license, probably still in high school or starting college or something. 17 years old. This gentleman could be our son, could be a younger brother, could be a cousin, could be some other relative. They could be an intern at a place that you work at, right? You're not 17 years old. And let's just say, maybe people look at boys differently. Let's say it was a girl. Maybe that makes it better. Maybe that would make it more concerning for folks. But look, fact is, we have a kid, not an adult, we have a child in a traffic dispute, and a much older person is approaching him, obviously in a threatening manner, and something happened. He felt like he had to defend himself. But I understand he got arrested. I can't remember what the charge was, but that's crazy. And then I have to self-reflect, right? Like, I know at times over the almost 20 years that I've had my license, I've been bad driven, I've been hit into, I've had traffic disputes with folks where I believe they're clearly in the wrong. And yes, tempers may fly, tempers may flare at times, and you feel annoyed, like, oh gosh, what is going to happen right now for? But to get out the car and go into the other person's car with the intent to threaten them in some way, I mean, come on, that's where I draw the line. And even worse, when you go see, and it's a young person, something you should say, okay, this is not appropriate. This is not becoming of, behavior from an adult. And I should just check myself, take a deep breath, walk away. Shout if you want to, but will you now try to attack someone? I'm sorry, but that's inexcusable. So yeah, that was the big thing this week, and I really hope that we don't see many more of them going forward. But yet, a few weeks ago, we had the incident with the riffraff comment, and of course, that really, really offended the Caymanian people, and social media was ablaze for a couple of weeks on that. And yes, certain strong views were expressed by Caymanians, but I think I have to applaud the fact that no physical violence was used. But at the same time, people are getting frustrated. People are feeling marginalized. People are feeling oppressed. People are feeling like their country is not for them anymore. And I will never support any form of violence, either by the person who was in the right or the person in the wrong. That's just not what we should resort to. As adults, we should be able to have sufficient control over our emotions to be able to handle things in a responsible manner. But what I'm saying is that incident should never have happened, and I think we all need to self-reflect and say to ourselves, like, how did we get here? How did we get to this point where we are right now? And I reflected myself, and to be honest, I don't know. I don't know how we got here. But what I do know is that we are here where we are right now because of decisions that were made in the past, right? And I know this is election season, but we need to stop the finger pointing. We need to stop blaming this person, this party, that party. Because the fact is, many people have passed through the House of Parliament. We've had different parties in power over the years, and many decisions were made, and collectively, they have compounded to where we are now. And of course, yes, if we had a crystal ball, maybe we'd go back in time and we would have changed things. But the fact is, my Caymanian people, we are where we are right now, and no amount of finger pointing is going to change that. The only way that this country can improve, the only way that things can get better here, the only way that we can address things like cost of living, traffic, Caymanians feeling marginalized, but also important topics such as minimum wage, crime-related issues. We have to work together. We have to band together as a country. Okay? And that's not just my Caymanian people either. We have more than 50% of the people here are actually non-Caymanian. And although they can't vote, there are many of them who want to see a better Cayman because they're here with their families, they're here with their kids, and they want to see Cayman go in a good direction. Of course, there's some who are just here for other reasons that are, more financial in nature, but for the most part, people here want to see the country better. We may differ on what better looks like, and I think there needs to be some form of unity so that we can agree, what does Cayman of the future look like? So that at least we know as a people where we are and where we're getting to. So the importance of that is, of course, it's election season. Everyone is running for elections right now. Either they're running with a party or they're running independent. But my folks, my voting Caymanian people, please don't get distracted by this party or that party, because ultimately we are all people here who should want to collectively make this country a better place to live. Of course, because we are doing the whole single member constituencies, of course you have to focus on the people running in your area, either the incumbent MP or a prospective MP that wants your vote. But collectively, after all is said and done, after April 30 has passed and you've had your voice heard, you've had your vote, you voted on the referendum, regardless of that, we have a country to run, and whichever 19 MPs become elected, whether you are in the opposition, official opposition, or the other opposition, or you are in the successful party who's now running the government, all of you 19 people need to get together and put country before self, put country before party, and you all need to work together collectively to make this country a better place. And the next reason why I say that is, I know we're in election season, I'm going to say it again. When you are having your campaign events, you're not going to get any brownie points from tearing down the other person running against you. You're not going to get any brownie points for pointing out all the shortcomings of the current government or some other configuration of it. Okay, so what is done is done. What the people want to hear from you is what you or you and your party will be able to do to make this country a better place. So of course, you're an MP running for your constituents. You need to make sure that you are canvassing, you are hearing what they believe to be the concerns at a constituency level. And of course, you need to be concerned with the national level issues, right? Because yes, your job is sort of multidimensional. Your constituency people, they elect you, but ultimately, you band together to run this country the beloved Cayman Islands. All three of them, Grand Cayman, Cayman Brac, Little Cayman. It's not just one, it's all three. So when you are having your campaigns, really listen to people and make sure you're educated on all of the key national issues and come up with solutions that you believe can work. But as I said in the previous video, please remember there is something called a budget. And in terms of being able to expand that budget, unless you are creating new revenue measures or increasing the existing ones, or you have some rationale for some project, whether it's a capital project or something that you want to cut, please understand that there are constraints you're working in. So as we say in the workplace, you need to manage expectations. We all want to do good. We all want to promise the world to everyone. But the fact is, if you promise the world and then you get in, especially if you're in the winning government, you then have to take the existing budget, which is over $1 billion, and you need to find a way to make those priority projects work in that budget. If not, I don't know what you're going to do. So yeah, just be very mindful of that. Both as prospective MPs, please be careful what you promise people. It's better for you to say, I understand your issues and here's some of the things that I would like to consider for further discussion. But if you just don't have the answer, don't just kind of waffle around and just say something to make people vote for you, because yeah, you may get it now, but in 4 years you'll say, look, you haven't delivered for me. And then if you're voting, really engage with your MP. And don't be afraid to engage with different ones, Don't feel like because your family is pro one group, you can only speak to that one. Speak to everyone. Speak to everyone, understand what they have to say, and you make your choice as to who the best candidate is. Of course, we all have views on which party or which grouping of people we think makes the most sense, and that will vary. But ultimately, we cannot let this election tear apart our country, because after the election is done, after the candidates are put in, after all the billboards are taken down, we have a country to run, and we have many issues that need to be looked after. So that's just my encouragement. And young people, especially you, get involved. Speak to your MP, speak to your prospective MP, and understand as a young person, what plans do that person or that party has to incorporate young people getting involved. Because the young people, everyone says young people are the future, but I don't know how many people really believe it. Young people are our future. Because believe me, some of the younger candidates that are running now, I went to school with some of them. We were once kids reading about the old ministers in social studies books and stuff like that. And here we are now, 20, 30 years later, some of us are standing for election. So investment in our young people now will pay dividends in the future. Because one more thing with our young people, at some point, they're going to want their turn to step up and say, hey, I so-and-so would like your vote as a prospective MP. And we'll go, oh, they don't got enough experience. Oh, they're not ready for that. Oh, I don't know what they would do or how they handle certain issues. But the fact is, we need to prepare our young people, because one day this will be their country. And if we don't nurture and develop them during this time, when they're civically minded and quite interested in the affairs of our country, we lose the possibility of having some very high caliber MPs of the future. So all parties, please make sure that your young people have a voice and they have a seat at the table. One more thing. So your MP is the representative for that constituency. But behind that MP, because the MP is just one person can't do everything. Behind the MP, there'll be advisors. There'll hopefully be district councils. So again, just remember that that person is the representative for your constituency. They're not the brains completely of the operation. It's a collective effort. So get involved. It's one thing to complain on social media, oh, this, oh, I don't like the way things are going. But stand up. Don't just have your voice be heard. Put your hand up and say, look, how can I get involved? I have ideas about this, I have ideas about that. Be a part of the change, you know? You ask a room full of people, who wants change? Everybody goes, yeah, I want change. Who wants to be part of the change? Less people raise their hand. Because it is hard, it is a sacrifice, it is long evenings, it is weekends, it is giving up your personal time. But trust me, for our country to get to where it needs to be, we'll need all the help that we can get. So in closing, my message is one of togetherness, one of collaboration, and one of encouragement. We have to be optimistic that things can get better. We have to be positive on our future because our young people are watching, and we have a chance, especially in this election, we have a chance to make decisions that will affect the generations to come. So let's make sure that we are listening, we're engaging with our prospective MPs, we're having our voice be heard, and let's make sure we're giving them suggestions and solutions that can make this country a better place. I hope everyone has a good weekend. I hope you stay safe, and we will see what next week brings. But no more bad news, please. Thank you and have a good weekend.